Hi, everyone. It is around almost 6 o'clock on Tuesday. This is Lori from All Island Speech and Stuttering Therapy. I wanted to come on. I had promised a lot of the adults who stutter to give some tips that have helped me. And I wanted to just do one simple one because I think this will actually help everybody. So I just wanted to share something. Many years ago, when I first became a speech pathologist, I had gone for an interview for my first job at a school. I was very nervous. Um, I was lucky that I had graduated at a time where speech pathologists were in need, and I was able to get several interviews at the time. Um, that was, of course, after being an accountant for many years. And I remember this really clearly. I went for an interview at a school, and I remember the interview was at 2 o'clock. And I remember I like kind of searched out the area before because I wasn't all that familiar with it. And I went to a little restaurant, and I remember it really well. This is over 20 years ago. Excuse me. And it was a Mediterranean restaurant. And I remember I had a salad with grilled chicken, and I ate. And I remember when I was thinking about the interview, I sat there trying to really concentrate on my breathing. I had some fluency therapy before then, but I had a lot of fears, to be honest. And I wasn't sure if I should tell them that I stutter, not tell them. So what had happened was I sat there for, I would say, a good 45 minutes, just breathing. I mean, I'm talking from my diaphragm, breathing in and breathing out. I made sure I was in an area where there were not too many people. And I really wasn't that concerned if somebody saw me breathing, but I knew in order to get really past an interview that I had to have some degree of continuous flow of speech. And I knew I had to get my anxiety from the interview under control. So I think this could help everybody. So that took me a long time. And that was helpful. And I did visualize myself on the interview. So I visualized myself walking in, I visualized myself in the room, and I visualized myself answering questions. I made sure I did a mock interview before with a friend. So by the time I went into the interview, I was still nervous, but my breathing was a little bit more even. And I was able to use some of the fluency tools that I knew, but I knew at that time that I was going to have to disclose my stuttering. And I did, and I got the job, and they actually wanted me to do some stuttering education in the area. So that just happened to be a great experience. But I think what's really, really important for anyone who has a high level of anxiety before an interview, whether you stutter or not, I think you have to get there early because people always ask me for some ideas. You have to get there early. You have to allow breathing. You have to sort of change your mindset, like, I can do this. Even if you think you can't, you have to say to yourself, I can, because if you go in there with a negative mindset, it's very hard to get past it. In my case, I did need some fluency therapy behind me. I didn't always have it when I was an accountant, and I went on interviews. I did not have that many fluency tools behind me, and I didn't disclose that I stutter. I'm sure they knew, but it just didn't come up maybe because because those particular jobs did not require that much talking. But I do think the visualizing, like visualize yourself going there, visualize yourself opening up the door. If you can, like go there a day before, go there with a friend and do a mock interview, like in front of the building. If you're going to disclose that you stutter, do it in a positive way, like, oh, you know what, every once in a while I stutter, but it won't interfere with my job at all. This is what I've done, and then just move on. Most people, once they know what it is, it kind of like takes the elephant out of the room, because stuttering is only 1% of the population. So many people have no idea what it is. So I think it's always good, like I'm saying, we always have to release that airflow, release it from the diaphragm, and visualize what we're going to do. Once you visualize it, you can kind of get your mindset wrapped around it. And I always found that really helps. So people ask me that, and people have asked me also, what do they do when they start talking if they can't get started? So as we know, when you stutter, your vocal folds block. So if you don't have any breath control, you're going to block. Hi, Alina. I know you understand this. So we have to not only concentrate, I wish stuttering was just about being fluent. It's about changing our mindset. It's about preparing before. It's about learning how to breathe properly. It's about changing mindsets. So if you start to talk and you're really, really blocked, the best advice I can give you, if you don't have any fluency tools behind you, is to try and let that air out, which is hard to do in the middle of a block. But when you have residual air and you try and talk on residual air, you're going to start blocking more, and then you get into a pattern of disfluency. And when you get into a pattern of disfluency, it's very hard to break that. So that's why we work a lot on changing positive attitudes and getting ourselves into a more continuous moving mode. So I hope that helps you a little bit. I know, especially going on job interviews is very stressful, but it's the same thing for the younger kids who have to do a presentation in front of the class. It's just very hard for them to just walk up there. I mean, I think it's hard for anybody. I admire them. We didn't have to do that much public speaking in school, but for anyone to just have to go up and do like public speaking and get graded on it, there's a lot of anxiety. So we have to spend a lot of time breathing, feel the breath through our diaphragm, envision what's going to happen. And this takes a lot of help. Not everyone could just like break down that wall and go out there and start speaking. And I think to expect that is just too much. So I hope that helps a little bit. I have a lot of your emails because I said I'm going to do a meeting. It will get done, I promise, in the next couple of weeks. One of my walls of anxiety happens to be social media and email, so I have somebody helping me because I had to get past that. So I hope this helps, and I hope everyone has a really great night. If you need help, my email is Lori, Lori. I forgot how to spell my name. Lori at allislandspeech.com. You can put a comment below. I'm more than willing to help you. And just to add one more thing, that's why it's so important not to interrupt people who stutter. I mean, actually, it's so important not to interrupt anybody. But you certainly don't want to interrupt people who stutter because they lose the airflow. And when they start to lose the airflow, and the ability to like stop, and this goes for younger kids also, they start to stutter more. So I hope that helps. It is International Stuttering Awareness Day in about 10 days. So I just, hope to keep getting the information out there. And if I can help you with anything else, please let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.